Hello everyone, this is Niti and I welcome you in the session dot param statement in HSpice. So let's get started. So dot param statement is used to define the variables, we call them as parameters, in an HSpice netlist. Instead of entering the fixed numerical values throughout the circuit, you assign them to the parameter names, making the design easier to modify and reuse. The syntax for using the dot param statement is dot param followed by the parameter name. So we have defined the parameter name and then we give the value to it. Now let's see that in example. Now here I have a netlist where the first statement is dot option WDF equal to 1. Then dot temp 25 is the temperature at which I am doing my analysis. Now if you see I have used dot param. So that means now I'm defining a variable, I'm defining a parameter. The name of that parameter, that variable is load, and this load holds the value of 2 micron. Now let's read it further. You have a resistance which is connected between input and output node with a value of 1 kilo ohm. And now you have a capacitor which is connected between out and 0. And instead of giving the value here, you have given the variable name, right? Followed by the voltage source, which is a pulse signal which you are applying, followed by the transient analysis, dot prop statement, and dot measure statement. So let's try to understand that when HSpice is running, what does it do? So when HSpice, when you invoke HSpice, it parses this netlist. That means it reads this netlist. It comes to the point C1, and what it does is that it replaces this load. It sees this variable, that there is a variable by the name of load. It goes above and sees, okay, there is a parameter statement defined and the value given to the load is equal to 2 micron. So it replaces this 2 micron, right? And then it continues its analysis. That's how the parameter statement works, right? So having understood the syntax and how the HSpice parses it, let's see what he has to say about the advantages of the param statement. It says it improves the readability of the netlist. So readability, that means from this statement only you understand, okay, I am applying a load whose values is 2 micron, right? So that way the readability is improving. It makes the circuit modifications quick and easy, reduces manual editing errors, right? So now we will be seeing these two, and enables the reusable and scalable designs, right? Then it talks about what is known as parametric sweep, essential for parametric sweeps and optimization, which we will see up next, right? So let's go further. Now we talk about that dot param statement. If we are using it, makes certain circuit modification quick and easy, reduces the manual editing errors. Let's see the example. So I have here the two netlist. In the first netlist, this is for a differential pair, differential amplifier. If you see, there are two transistors M1 and M2, and it is saying it is a differential pair, and the width of these transistors are 4 micron, 4 micron. Then I have a current mirror load, which is having a transistor M3 and M4, and the width I have kept here is 8 micron and 8 micron. Then there is a tail current source wherein I have a transistor M5, and the width of this is 6 micron, followed by the dot model statements, right? Now if I have to change this 4 micron to 6 micron, what I'll do, I'll just simply write, instead I'll remove this first and then I'll write 6 micron, and then here also I will write 6 micron. If I want to make this 10 micron, I will write 10 micron, 10 micron, and here I will, let us suppose I want to make it 12 micron, right? So now I have done all this, 1 2 3 4 5, right? So I have done the 5 replacements here. Now, whereas if you compare the netlist 2, right? This is my netlist 2. In here, I'm defining the parameter. I'm defining a variable Wn whose value is 4 micron. And in front of it, I have written that this is the input pair width. So clearly, it is easy to read. right? So this Wn is representing input pair width. Wp is equal to 8 micron, PMOS load width, right? So that means it is clearly telling you that this parameter Wp, whatever value I'm giving to it, it basically belongs to the PMOS load width. Then dot param W tail equal to 6 micron, and it is telling you that a tail current source width, right, is 6 micron. So that is giving you the kind of readability. You understand, okay, what are the width for my input differential pair, for my current mirror, PMOS current mirror, and for my tail current source, increasing the readability. Now, one thing is this, and then if you see here in the input differential pair for transistor M1 and M2, he has replaced W equal to Wn. Now he is no more writing 4 micron. He is just giving the parameter value, parameter uh, uh, just the parameter he is giving here, right? So whatever parameter name was given Wn, so he is giving the parameter name here Wn. Similarly, for PMOS current mirror load, he is not writing 8 micron anymore. He is writing WP. Similarly, for tail current source, he is not writing 6 micron now. He's just writing WT tail, right? And now what will happen when XSpice will read this netlist? It will see the values of WN, WP, and W tail. When it comes here, it will simply replace this WN with the 4 micron. So now my width will become 4 micron. The width will become 4 micron. Here it will come, it will say, okay, I have a parameter here whose name is WP. He knows that WP is equal to 8 micron. He will replace it here 8 micron, 8 micron. And if, and this, when he will come to the tail current source, he sees, okay, my W is equal to W tail. So he'll replace it with 6 micron, right? Now, having said that, let us assume, as I told you, that I wanted to replace my width here from 4 micron to 6 micron, right? So instead of changing here two times, I just simply change here 6 micron. Here I change 10 micron. Here I change 12 micron. So now I have to just change three values, right? And it will automatically be changed here, right? So now from 6, I have reduced, so change the value to 3, and it is also very easy for me to read it, that where I am doing the mistake, right? If let us suppose instead of writing 12 micron here, I wrote 10 micron, then very easily I could go and check, okay, I wanted my tail current source width to be 12, but I have put here as 10 micron. So this helps me in two ways. First, it is easy for me to modify my circuit quickly and easily because I do not have to worry WN. There could be multiple such lines if it's a very big net list, right? Secondly, I just change here and this reduces my chances of manual editing, right? So it might be that when I'm writing here, I write something wrong, right? But since you are minimizing here, just have to change the parameters here. The chances of doing the error reduces tremendously. So that is the main advantage of the parameter statement here, right? Okay, now let's move further. So now to explain to you the concept of the parametric sweep and how does dot param statement helps me in that, I will be taking up an example with you. So the example says that given an RC circuit to you with R1 is equal to 1 kilo ohm, C is equal to 1 micron, given an input pulse with TD is equal to rise time 0.0001 nanosecond, fall time is equal to 0.001 n, the pulse width 2 millisecond, the period 4 millisecond, change the capacitance values to 2 micron, find the rise time and the fall time of my output waveform, calculate TPHL and TPLH, and repeat this for the capacitance value. You have to repeat all these calculations for 4 micron, 6 micron, and 8 micron. So essentially, if you see what he's asking you to do, he's asking that you need to change your capacitance value from 2 micron, 4 micron, 6 micron, and 8 micron. You need to then find for the given load capacitance value the rise time, the fall time, the propagation delay TPHL and TPLH. Right? Now there are two ways of doing this. You write the netlist one, wherein you declare your capacitance 2 micron, right? and you run the simulation. You are using dot measure statements here to calculate TPLH and TPHL. You can also write the measure statement to calculate the rise time and the fall time, right? So first it will do the calculation for 2 micron. Then you manually edit this 2 micron to 4 micron. Again run the simulation. Then find the values and fill the table, and then you change it to 6 micron and then to 8 micron. So that means every time you will change the value and you will do the resimulation, right? So rather than doing this, HSpice gives you the feasibility of doing this kind of analysis in one go by using param statement and by doing parametric sweep. So what do we do here? We say, okay, let's define a variable by using dot param statement. The variable name is load. Now in this netlist, I'm replacing my capacitor here. So this capacitor, the value here will be taken from this variable value. Now variable value is 2 micron, so it will keep it 2 micron. Okay, it will run further. And here if you see in the dot transient analysis, it is using a statement sweep. And he's saying sweep load. That means change the value of my load. Start the value of load from 2 micron. Run it till 8 micron in the step size of 2 micron. So what will happen when HSpace will start? It will first take the value 2 micron. That is the starting point here, right? And it will run the simulation. It will calculate TPLH and TPHL from here, from this netlist, and it will store it. Okay. Then what it will do further? Since you are saying increase the step size by 2 micron, so this is the step size increase. So now what it will do to 2 micron, it will add 2 micron, you will get 4 micron, right? Now again the value of the load will now become 4 micron. So that means this load value will earlier was 2 micron, or it will automatically become 4 micron. And your HSpice now will run the simulation with the load value 4 micron. It will store the values using, it will calculate the values using this dot measure statement, and it will store those values. Then once it's done, again it says, okay, the endpoint is 8 micron. So 4 micron is still less than 8 micron, and I have a step size of 2. So it will increase 4 micron plus 2 micron is equal to 6 micron, right? Now it will again, what it will do, it will now change the load value here as 6 micron and will run the simulation. Again, do the measure, run the measure statement, and will find the delays values for 6 micron, right? Then again 6 micron, step size is 2 micron, so 8 micron. Yes, so I have to go till 8 micron. Now 8 micron, it will again replace this load with 8 micron, right? And it will run the simulation for this 8 micron load value. It will do the measure analysis using this measure statement and store this value. Okay, and at the output you will get an MD0 file which will contain TPLH and TPHL values for all the 4 loads, and this analysis will be done in one go. That means one time you run HSpice minus I and the netlist name. In one time you will get the output for all the 4 load values. That is what we defined as the parametric sweep, right? So a parametric sweep is an analysis in which HSpice automatically varies the value of a parameter over a specified range and performs the simulation for each value. This allows you to study how circuit performance change with the component value, hence allowing you a better understanding of your circuit, giving you the better visualization and optimization. And what is the simulation? For this, how my results are going to look like, right? So let's first run the simulation and come back to this slide then. So I make a directory by the name of param underscore analysis. I will go inside this. And if I do ls, right now it's empty. So I'm going to create my netlist here. Param underscore analysis dot sp will open up, and I will just do and paste here. Right? So guys, remember I have always told you that the first line by default it's comment. So I'll just, yeah. So let me just add here. This is a netlist showing the parametric analysis, parametric sweep analysis of an RC circuit. So now, let me, okay. Now, first, let's, instead of putting dot param, so I will what do, I'll just comment this. I'll put a star in front of it, so it will comment it. And here, instead of writing load, I'll just write 2 micron. And here, I will not give the sweep. Okay, and now this is the way originally the things are done. Okay, so now what you will do, you will do wq, okay, and you will just run the HSpice simulation. HSpice, this is the traditional way people do it, right? Okay, so it says job concluded. So vi, now I'll just open the empty zero file for you. So right now you are able to see the TPLH and TPHL and only one value, right? Now also I will show you the waveform. Okay, so top level I'll click V in, V out. So that's it. This is how my output waveform is looking like, right? And let me just close this one. Okay. Now, now if, so this was for 2 micron, right? Now what, now you want to do the analysis for the 4 micron, so you write down 4 micron here, right? Now you have changed, so now you see you're changing the value one by one, and then what you have to do is you have to rerun your simulation again. Also another thing is I want to keep my previous file as well, right? So what I do is load underscore 4 micron, that will create, okay, minus n 1, right? So basically I'm saying that create all the files with the name load underscore for you, just to differentiate from the 2 micron files. And I'm saying give the number, you are using 0 here, so now at the end you will, because I have given minus n, it will give me 1. So let's run this. So it's saying job concluded. So now if you see, the two things have happened. My output files are coming with the name load underscore for you. I have changed the name, right? If you don't do this, it will simply replace the old files. For 4 micron when it will run, and if you do not use this statement, then what it will do is it will replace the values inside this one by default. But we want to keep the results for 2 micron as well as for the 4 micron. And now I'll show you. Vi. So when my load is 4 micron, okay, what is the measure statement? Yes. So let's now if let's compare the, if I have to compare that when my load was 4 micron and when my load was 2 micron, then what was the difference that I was getting? So I will do a vimdev command here. Yes. And if you see, right, I for 4 micron, right, my TPLH is 4.7. Now this E stands for minus 3, and here E raised to minus 4 and minus 4. That means as you have increased the value of the capacitance, the delay has increased, right? This is the kind of analysis that we would like to see, right? But now thing is that I have to run the things separately. I'm seeing the things separately in separate files, and I want to, and this could be like, every time running it will be the waste of my time, right? So what I do is I say if there is a way using which I could do all this analysis in one go. So what I do here, now I activate my param statement here, right? So I'll just do this. I'll say okay. Here instead of 4 micron, because we are using so load, I will write, and here now because I want to see uh, all the analysis in one go, so I write down sweep. That sweep means change the value of my parameter load starting from 2 micron running till 8 micron in steps of 2 micron, right? And we just do this WQ, and now let me run this, right? So I'm running this, and so I'll give the name param underscore sweep. Now minus n, let's keep it as 2. So now in the end you will have 2. Okay, so let's run it. Okay, now let's look at empty zero file. Okay. Okay, so I have opened the param underscore analysis. Not the empty zero, but rather I should be opening param sweep. Param underscore sweep dot empty. Now I'm not using zero because I've used minus n2. So see if the last number is changed to 2, right? So I'll just open this one. And now guys, if you're able to see, so for 2 micron, 4 micron, 6 micron, 8 micron, for in one go he has given me all the values. And what I am able to analyze from here is that as I am increasing the load, I am going from 2 micron to 8 micron, my TPLH value has increased, my TPHL value has increased. That shows me very clearly that as I am increasing the load of my transistor, the load capacitor load value, the delay is increasing. So that's the kind of analysis we as an engineer do after we understand how to use these basic commands. Now I'll also show you in the output waveform how does it looks like. WV, and I will just open this .tr2 w underscore wdf here to copy and just do the paste here. Yeah. Now in here I'll click here top level, right? I will do v in, and if you see right now we are able to see four waveforms, right? Now the question is that how do I recognize that these four waveforms, which one is for which load value? So all you have to do is click onto this plus sign here. Now it is saying that the pink one is for the load value 2 micron, this purple one is for 4 micron, the orange one is for 6 micron, and this gray one is for 8 micron, right? And it is very evident if you see from here that for my 2 micron, right, it is trying to go towards 5, right? The amplitude is more. So yeah, this is how. So as I am increasing the load and then it do the measure analysis with the measure command, you can also do the measure analysis using this measure tool as well, right? So having get this clarity, let's switch back. So now this is what I am showing you over here. So once again, let's recapitulate what is this dot param statement. The dot param statement uses the command to define the parameters. Parameters in HSpice are names that have associated numerical values used with the sweep statement in the analysis command, right? So the advantage of doing the parametric sweep analysis, that all the analysis will be done in one go without having to change the value of your capacitor again and again. I hope you are able to understand. This is our netlist, right? So this was about the parametric analysis. Now I'm showing you another example wherein I've changed few things. Now I'm not asking you to change the load value here, right? What I'm asking you to change in the pulse signal, right? So input, you are applying a pulse signal, right? I am asking you to change the rise time and the fall time, both, right? The thing is that you cannot use a param statement, especially the sweep analysis, wherein you could change these two parameters together. That is not possible. For that, we use another statement known as dot data, which we will discuss in the last session. So I hope now you get the clarity that what is dot param statement, what is parametric sweep analysis, and how do we do it, and what are its advantages. Thank you.